Okay, it's the last Saturday of June, and this is the brutalised apple tree that I was going to graft over. I didn't end up grafting it over. I won't go over that at great length, but I sawed this back extremely hard. Just to recap, this apple tree was here before we came to this house. We think it's 50 years old probably. Variety was no good to me. And I sawed it back very hard. The idea that it would send up a load of shoots, and I would select some of those shoots and graft onto them. And that's what I'm going to do this morning. This morning is the morning. Now what I'm going to do here, I hope this will film reasonably well. I'm selecting out the, just sent up a load of, as you can see, set up a very large number of new shoots, what we call water shoots, you could call them. And what I'm doing, I'm cutting out the ones I don't want in order to leave the ones I do want in the correct sort of shape, so that in the coming spring next year, put that out, next year I will graft these over. I will do good old saddle grafts on them. I'm removing ones which are pointing inwards. See, if I remove, the more I remove, the ones that remain will grow stronger. I'll put up a similar video. Mel Bramley on the orchard. I don't want these growing out. Interestingly, look how strongly these growths are coming. If you sort of vigorously cut back a big old tree like this, if you don't kill it, this is what will happen. It'll send up lots of very strong shoots. You don't want all of these. You don't even want half of them. Just thinking what the eventual shape of the tree ought to be. By the way, I did leave a few nurse branches. See, we don't want these coming out of the side here. I left a few nurse branches as for sap drawer branches, which I think is a good idea, but I'm not 100% certain about it. I've never killed a tree. I've not done this very often, but I've never killed a tree doing it. I did cut these angles so that water would run off, and I waxed these. That would be good. Yeah, these ones are more in the middle of the tree. Yes, I'm going to graft this over to a different variety. I was going to do that this last grafting season, but I had so much else on. In the end, I forgot. I was careless, and yeah, you see, it's coming a bit better now, isn't it? I'll take this out. This was one of the nurse branches. I left that. But as we've got all these wonderful new shoots, in order to keep the tree as symmetrical as possible, I'm going to do it all from the little nurse, not from the nurse branches. So I'm fumbling my words very slightly, which I tend to when I'm working while I'm talking. And we don't want that coming out of the side. It's down there. This one I want to take out, but I don't actually have a saw on me. No, having said that, you can, with a bit of pressure, sometimes cut. Don't try this with cheap secateurs, you'll break them. Yeah. It's a little trick. You just pull it that way. That helps. I will tidy all this up later, or else I'll be told off. You see what I've been doing? Again, I don't want this big one in the middle, it's growing across the centre of the tree. But I think for now I'll just actually leave that little shoot there. It might just be of some interest. And they were too thick over here, again, coming up from below. Not what we want. Yes, I know there's some ivy around the base of the tree, and I will remove that later. looking for a symmetrical vase shape, I'm going to grow this as a sort of open centre. It's not exactly a bush, it's more of a half standard. See the way it's going? Now removing most of these will mean that the remaining ones will grow more vigorously. So I'm just basically doing the initial shaping of the tree here. This doesn't have to be the absolutely final shape. And these are growing into the middle of the tree. I'll take those out. We'll stand back and take a look. You want to watch out the danger. Somebody wrote the urge that resides in secateurs to go on snipping. Do be aware of that. Right, so you can see what I've done. You can see what that was like. You can always go back to the beginning of the video if you want. You can see what that was looking like. Now you can see what it is looking like. I may still remove a couple of those, a bit of fine tuning later. But having removed all of these, and this is the sort of growth, you know, these have all, I can't see that, these have all just appeared from nowhere. Well, not from nowhere, but there was no original shoot. You know, there are cells in the bark which will, under certain stimuli, shoot out and produce this considerable new growth. So this process is going to take a few years, but not that many years. Not that many years. What I'm expecting will now happen is that these, having grown away, I mean, it's the last weekend of June, where these have grown 1.5 foot, 2 feet, some of them. I'm expecting that, having removed all of this, these ones these ones which remain should grow considerably faster now, and they will send out very substantial growths, and I will then, God willing, next April, beginning of April, I will graft onto those, probably using the good old saddle graft. I will graft onto those, and I have decided, of course I could change my mind, to use the variety Queen Cox. It's a very good apple. It's nearly as good, well, it's probably as good in flavour as the good old Cox's Orange Pippin, but it grows rather better, and we're thinking about posterity. We don't know if we'll always be living in this house, and we'd like to leave a really good apple tree to somebody else. We move on. Yeah, the variety here was Arthur Turner, which is an indifferent cooking apple. It's not bad. It's quite an annual cropper, but because the tree was growing so tall, it was growing up to 20 feet tall, we couldn't manage the tree very well, and we got a lot of codling moth and scab. So this tree it'll be growing lower, it'll be spreading more widely, it'll be easier to manage. Okay, well, right, so you see what I'm doing now. It all makes sense, I hope. So the continuing story of this tree, I hope, I'll show you again what this looks like when it's finished growing towards the autumn, and then I'll hopefully graft onto it next year.